regularly throughout the day. Because, you know, it doesn't really seem like a big deal to have to reach for the stapler, but if you keep doing that throughout the day, it is actually going to cause some strain over time. All right, so now that we quickly reviewed proper desk mechanics and, you know, ergonomic setup and all of that, I'm going to show you some quick stretches that you can be doing while you're at your desk. And Nancy is going to demonstrate them for us, and she's sitting in the desk right now. All right, so nice and simple. A really good one to kind of open up your chest is scapular retraction, just some shoulder blade squeezes. So we're going to squeeze back, good, and then relax. Good, nice big squeeze back there, and relax. Good, so you can see this is nice and easy. Nancy's able to do this right at her desk, really doesn't take much here. We're going to do about 10 reps of these. Throughout the day, you can do 10 to 20 of them, and it really, you can do them throughout the day, 3 times a day, 4 times a day, however it feels good for you whenever you have the chance to do them. So that's the first one, your scapular retraction. Another good one to be doing is some thoracic extensions. So we can put the hands behind the head there, and then from here, we're just gonna bend backwards, look up towards the ceiling, and then come straight back. So this is a really good one, especially if you're kind of used to that slumped forward position, kind of reaching forward for the phone and all of that sort of stuff. Just opens everything up, kind of counteracts that poor posture. Does that feel good, Nancy? Mm-hmm. Good. Let's do one more there. All right. Another great one is to just reach overhead. Good, you can kind of clasp the fingers together, nice deep breath, and then you can tip over to one side, get a nice little stretch through the side body there. Good, and then go over to the other side. Awesome. How's that feeling? Good. Let's go to each side once more. Perfect. And then the last one that we're going to do is just a little stretch for your chest. Easiest way to do this while you're sitting down is to bring the hands behind your back. All right, and then from here you can straighten out the elbows and kind of open that chest up a little bit. If it feels good for you, you can kind of lift the hands off of the back, just getting a nice deep stretch through the front of the chest here. If this one causes any shoulder issues at all, make sure you don't push into that. There's other ways to stretch the chest. You can always ask me about that. But this is just a nice, easy one to do while you're sitting in the desk. Feels good? Good. All right. So that's the basic little desk routine. And like I said, it can be done throughout the day, just however it feels good for you when you have some free time at work. And then I'm going to show you a few additional stretches that aren't as easy to do at your desk, but are equally as important for you to be doing throughout the day to alleviate any stress on your back and to stretch out the front of your hips. So you can see with Nancy sitting right there, her legs are bent forward, so her hip flexors right there, it's really easy for them to get pretty tight when she's in this position for so many hours a day. So let's stand up, and we're going to do a little hip flexor stretch. Change the camera here. All right, so to do this, we're going to bring one leg back and step one leg forward. Good. You want to keep the spine nice and straight, and then just start leaning into that forward leg until you start to feel a good stretch through the front of the hip right there. You feeling that? Good. So all stretches should be held for about 30 seconds. That's where we get the most benefits from it. And we want to do 3 of them on each leg. So it hasn't been 30 seconds yet, but for the sake of time, we'll pretend it's 30 seconds. And let's switch to the other leg, Nancy. Good, and you can see that her back is not arching, her spine is nice and neutral, and she's just shifting her weight forward until she gets a good stretch through the front of that hip. Good, so really important for counteracting, you know, that tightness that gets in the front of the hip just from sitting at the desk all day. So then the last thing to think about is your lumbar spine. Same thing with the flex position of sitting in the chair all the time. It takes out that natural curve that should be in the standing. So we're going to work on a stretch to help put that lumbar curve back in the spine. So to do that, hands are going to go up against the wall. And from here, her elbows are nice and straight. She's just going to let her hips sag forward towards the wall. Good. And then come back up nice and straight. Good. So this doesn't have to be a huge movement, but enough that she gets a nice little stretch there. This is really good if you have any of that sciatic pain that goes down your leg, radiating at all. It can really help to counteract that. Feeling okay, Nancy?
Yeah.
Good. All right, so with this one, same thing as some of the other ones that we talked about, like the shoulder blade squeezes and everything, 10 to 20 of them throughout the day as you have the chance. At the very least, at lunchtime, you can get up and do these. So that is all that we have for you guys today. Thanks so much for joining. And let me or Nancy know if you have any questions. All right, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thanks.
This. Sure. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. So I hope if you weren't participating during this little stretching and desk ergonomic session that you take these notes home with you or able to implement them during your everyday work. Does anybody have any questions? We'll open it up to anybody to jump on.
I have a question.
Yes, Sharon.
Yes.
Is there anything someone could put behind their back or somehow brace themselves if they have trouble keeping good posture?
I could put that in the video.
No, it's coming up next.
Okay.
Stay tuned, Sharon.
Oh, there's more.
Yes, there is something that we can do for that.
You can show that right now. Let me
Yeah, so we have a few extra little like tips and tricks for people just throughout the day. So we're just going to pull up a little PowerPoint real quick that has some pictures on it and stuff. All right, so if we go to the next slide. All right, so just some simple little tips to make you successful throughout the day, kind of keep the pain at bay, all of that. One of the best things you can be doing is just getting up and moving as much as you can. So shoot for once an hour. It's not always possible when you're super busy and everything like that. But once an hour is best. So some ways that you can be successful with that is to set timers on your phone to turn silent so that our phones aren't ringing in the clinic. Set some timers. You can drink lots of water so that it actually forces you to use the restroom more often. That's a good way to be up and moving throughout the day. Plan a walk at lunch. You can have a little walking partner, Nancy. And then, so the other thing that's going to be really important for anyone who has low back pain at work is to use a lumbar roll at the back of your chair. And I'm going to show you a picture of that in just a second. Another way you can kind of mitigate some of it too is to use a standing desk. So all of the therapists have those desks that, slide up and down. So you can always snag one from one of them, put maybe a laptop on the standing desk. That way you can kind of toggle back and forth between sitting down at your desktop and then standing up at the laptop. I know Nancy does that a lot, so that can be helpful. If we go to the next slide, that is a picture of the lumbar roll. So on the right is what it looks like just out of the package. That's the McKenzie lumbar roll. It doesn't have to be that brand, but that's the most popular one. You can get it on Amazon. I think it's like $26. And then on the left, you can see how improved her posture is there. You can see that nice lumbar curve is still intact as opposed to without that support, it kind of just flattens out, which leads to a lot of back pain. So this is a really great way to mitigate that. And then lastly, if we just go to the next slide, don't hesitate to ask any of the therapists for help. We are all here. We do this all day long. So if anyone's experiencing any back pain or anything, ask me, ask one of the PTs that you work with. That goes for the administrative staff too, and like central auth and that sort of stuff. Just reach out to any of us. We'll help you out. And then if you need any modifications, ask your supervisor for a lumbar roll. If you need an extra standing desk, definitely don't hesitate to reach out. So we're all willing to help. And that's all I have for you guys.
Thanks, Starla. I think also just to point out, maybe a temporary solution for lifting up to use stacks of paper just to get you there until we're able to order a platform for you. That's something that we had to do over here in the corporate office. So just wanted to
Yeah,
make
that works
sure
really well.
Yeah, so that's a good way to kind of mitigate that. But is there any other questions that anybody has?
My feet get all weird at night now.
I have a question for Nancy. Nancy, have you ever sought out treatment from the therapist in your clinics? And if you did,
Yes, I sought out treatment. Starla actually helped me because I did hurt my back actually not too long ago. So I reached out to one of my PTAs, and then I reached out to Brendan because he noticed something was up, and then Starla did also. So they gave me a couple of pointers to go ahead and do at the clinic to make me get up, and to also do it at home.
And she's also doing nighttime walks, and she has the lumbar roll. She's all set up.
there are not many perks for working for a PT company, but free treatment is one of the perks we can offer. So make sure you take advantage of it if it's appropriate.
And I do get Starla on me all the time to make sure I do get up and do those exercises. She'll give me the look.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Starla or Nancy or any of the PTs on here? All right, well, thank you guys for joining. This session is going to be recorded. We'll also send out the PowerPoint in addition to the video that Starla and Nancy did. So thank you for joining. Let's all remember to stay healthy, get up and walk around, start to create some movement, and implement some of those stretches that Starla talked about. So thank you guys, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Good job.
Bye.